Good day and welcome to another edition of Outside Genie, where we will be looking at the race meeting from Fairway today, 26th of March, on the turf track, where they have 8 races and two which include 2 future races. But before we go there, there's just one or two things that I would like to mention. First off, I just want to mention that we're nearing the end of the month now, so um, you can subscribe to Outside Genie for our special offer where you can get the rest of March free till the 31st of March, and then for 2 months, 400 rand. So that's 200 rand a month, where our normal fee is a thousand rand. Oh, it's 500 rand a month. So for 2 months would have been 1,000 rand. So you really score there. And then we give you a 6 months package, which is at 200 rand a month, the real value 3,000 rand. Or you can subscribe now till the 31st of March for 1,000 rand. You can WhatsApp me on 083-585-5133. I would also just like to mention that the meeting for tomorrow, the Turffontein, will only be for subscribers, as there's a few feature races. And as you know, what we do is when we have a few future races, then I do a more comprehensive video than normal. I don't just give my outright and outsider selections. I also do discussion on the chances of most of the runners in the race, so that you can get a comprehensive insight into how I'm thinking and my selections. So therefore, because of that, the free video and the selections are then not a free video, but only for subscribers. That will be for tomorrow, Saturday. Then I just want to have a look at how we did yesterday at a very difficult day at the fall. As I said in my preview, rather put your money in your pocket and wait for the end of for the weekend. But we have had a bit of success yesterday, so I would quickly like to run through it. First of all, in my preview, I just say I think the best bet on the card was number 1, Justice Reach, and he duly arrived getting up on the line and winning at a starting price of 3-1, where it was 5-2 earlier in the morning. Then in the second race, unfortunately, went for a Michael de Kokos. That finished nowhere. I really think that horse is a brass. In race number 3, I did say number 2 is definitely a huge runner, and also said gave number 12, but that was like the favorite, so that wasn't difficult to get. And also I recommended number 8, which was also one of the favorites. So not a lot of money to be made in that race, but we did give you some insight. Then, sometimes I've said so many times before that sometimes I recommend horses and then it doesn't do anything. And in the next race, or maybe 2 races later, then they perform. And on this card today is 2 of these examples, which I'm going to discuss with you. The day that Devil is Dancer debut, I said to include in your bet this horse, well bred. It's going to be there, and then didn't do anything. And then last time out, I said, listen, I'm still sticking with this horse because I think that it, on the breeding, the first one can't be true. So the horse duly improved a little bit in his second race. And then yesterday, I just brassed it. I just gave it a miss, and I thought, well, I'll wait till it starts improving. Well, the problem is it improved so much that it won the race, and 72 rand to win 10 rand a place. But that is just how racing goes. In race number 5, I did recommend number 9, Dark Vision, to be included in all bets. And I also said it was an open race. Favorites finishing third, and I did say I'm not, I wasn't in the camp of the favorites. In year race 6, I gave you a nice one. I just say in my preview that I like Katy Perry very much. As a matter of fact, one of my doubles that I gave you for the day, all to come doubles, was with number 1 in the first race and number 6 in the 6th race. So that must have been a sign for you that I did like that horse and Katy Perry, and that double on the morning prices worked out to 12-1. So that would have been a nice win if you got that. Then in the 7th race, number 13, Country Squire, I couldn't find it on handicapping terms. The problem is with Grand Maroon horses, you never know how they're going to run. One day they run well, the other days they don't. I mean, here you had also number 5, Donny G. Again, I found it hard to find. I did give you number 3, Valeterio, which paid 240 a place. That nearly came up, but was run out of it by number 13, Country Square. Then here in the next race is number 8, Big City Girl, which I gave you. 13 and 14 was my 2 outsider selections. So if you took that in an exacta, because I did include them in race 7, my exacta was in race 8, sorry. My exacta was box 7, 11, 13, 14. That would have cost you 12 Rand, and if you took it a couple of times, you would have gotten back 161. I also gave you the trifecta for 60 Rand box, and that was 90 was 942. And then last time, Into the Future, I gave Into the Future last time out. I did include it in all of my, my trifecta selections, but I never had it as an outright winner or outsider selection. And then when I did my things, I gave Tiki Taki. I was looking at Tiki Taki, and I just decided against it. And then you said, I remember I said to you that you sometimes tip horse. Last time out, I think the last 2 times Pretty Jolly ran, I did give it as one of my outsider selections. Yesterday I ignored it, so it ran 4th, paying 6 Rand 40 a place. But again, that's how racing goes, and that's what we're doing when we're all hoping to catch that big one. But sometimes they do elude us. But all in all, if you have a look here, the Big 6 paid 641,000 no tickets. The PA, if the PA pays 20,000 Rand that day, then you must know it was a rough day. The PA paid more than the jackpot, and then the bipot paid 155,000. So all in all, a rough day. The jackpot paid 25,000, the second jackpot. So all in all, a rough day, but we move on. So now we can move on to our selections for today. And we kick off the first race of a juvenile. And as you know, that I don't give selections on juveniles. So I'm going to move here to race number 2, where we're going to start just now. But let's have a look at the betting for number 1. Race 1, for those people who are interested. Number 1, 11 to 10, 7 to 2, Big Falls, Arctic Advance, 9 to 2, Self Sandwich, 16 to 1, Mr. Hyde, 14 to 1, 12 to 1, Seawees Point, Masterman, 16 to 1, Peace in the World, 20 to 1, Future Craft, 33 to 1, 55 to 1. Then we move on to the race 2, where the race 2, we have 16 to 10, number 9, Subterfuge, Iron Henry, 7 to 2, Palace Opera, 15 to 4, El Kazim, 8 to 1, Rayu, 12 to 1, Marion Hayes, 16 to 1, 16 to 1, Sovereign Supreme, Big Texas, 16 to 1, Substitute, 25 to 1, Stereotype, 40 and 60 to 1, Gallagop's Hotspot. Now, here in race 2, my first selection is number 1. I mean, I'm not keeping count, but I don't know how many times Zietsman Oosthuizen has won with a horse first time out from another center, especially Gauteng. If you can find here where is that horse now? I'm gonna just find it now. Occasion Point, Better Days. Last time out, last week, this horse won, I think it was 10 or 12 to 1. First time out at Fairview over the 1400 meters, he won, and with Warren Kennedy on board. So it's actually now a scratching. Now, when you have a look, my first selection here is number 1, Al Kazim. This horse is very well bred. And, you can have a look at this race here behind Paisley Park. Now, Paisley Park is already a multiple. I think he's won 3 races already. Now, if you go to form grids and you have a look at that race, there's multiple, there's more than 4, because the 4 out of 15, that indicates horses that has just won directly after that race. There are more winners than that, and some of them has won 3 or 4 times. So I think this horse has got strong form, And although it's 1,000 meters, the horse has shown pace, and he's got Richard Fourie on today, which is Richard Fourie, know how to ride a horse. So I'm thinking number 1, Kazim, definitely in with a huge chance. Then my other outsider selection is number 2, Iron Henry. Iron Henry came off a long rest last time out from November 20. Now, first of that, we had a rest. He never ran for a year, and then he ran in November. He ran behind Princess Love in November. After a long race, he ran second. And I'm thinking this horse today is going to be a huge runner in this field. Surely, I'm sure he must have some kind of problem, but I'm definitely sure he might just need a run. That's why I'm going for number 1. And then so number 2, definitely inclusion in all of your play. Then other outsider selections I'm going for is number 4, Raio, R-A-I-O, I don't know how to pronounce that. Chase Million running from draw 11, but that's down the straight, so it's not a problem. Has had a few, this last 2 runs he has improved in Cape Town, but I do feel that number 1 will be better, will definitely have the beating of number 4. And then let's have a look at number 11. Number 11, Marion Heist, has been placed, but that was on the Folly, and hasn't run a lot of races on the turf. But I mean, I'm looking at his breeding jackpot by Caesar May. I'm sure there won't be a problem for this horse. But put in the back end of your quotation thing. But I do think there's a few more, stronger horses. But this horse has been running well lately, and I think to include it. Another horse which I definitely included is number 9, Subterfuge. I've been following this horse in Cape Town, but he's disappointed me a little bit. But if you also look at the kind of horses he runs again, Duplicity, Go Lightly, A Moment Apart, Granny's Moon. This horse definitely have Luke Ferraris on board is going to be the main danger, I would think, to number 1 and number 2, El Kazim and Iron Henry. But definitely inclusion in all of your play. Then we move on to race number 3, which is a maiden plate over 1,200 meters. Candice Bass Robertson is bringing a number of horses down. And here we have number 2, Ikara, 15-10, 4-1. First amongst equal, 7-2, red, white, and blue. 8-1, Jaspero, Big Splash, 12-1, Volgardia, 14-1, 16-1, QS VAR, 25-1, and longer the rest. Also certainly an open maiden plate, but I think the winner should come from number 2, Ikaru. Ikaru ran in Cape Town against some. Here you have Adios Amigos, 2.95 lengths behind Adios Amigos. Now this Adios Amigos today is the favorite to win the race today, the Eastern Cape Guineas. So surely that was a good run. Ikaru has been mainly running over 1,400 meters, but now running to about 1,200 meters, I don't think will be a problem because this horse do show pace. He's been also, as you can see here behind Rostopovich and Captain Who, that's shown pace. So maybe the 1,200 meters might actually suit him better. He's also by Global View, which is having, as a boom sire. I think it's, the son of Galileo is definitely going to make an impact on the breeding ranks in South Africa. So I think number 2, Ikaru, is going to be hard to beat in this race. And for outsider selections, I'm going for number 3, Jaspero. Jaspero, ran behind Better Days last week, and I was 2.5 lengths behind, third. And I think can have a good run again today. My other outsider selection is number 8, which is QS VAR. This is a Kirari by Varme, nicely bred. That run in Durban and then went to KwaZulu-Natal, now finding it PE. Also Free on board, Richard Free on board, shows a lot of pace. I think can definitely be involved. Then just want to mention Zeech has got a few, one of two horses getting from Michael Azzi, Westminster, and I think there's other one, Enrico Cicchetti. Definitely, I think Enrico Cicchetti, you should include at least for the back end of your trifectas and quartets, and I think there's Westminster, maybe, put into, if you play a multiple quartet, put that in for fourth. Certainly horses that is coming from a stronger center and can surprise. Big Splash, last time out, was the favorite behind the horse that we have a small share in Homer featured. He was there, but he faded, and I think the 1600 meter might have just been too far for him. Today he's got Lyle Hewitson on board from draw one again, and certainly can, be involved in the finish. But also another horse that you do also need to include is number one, First Among Equals. Ran a nice race behind Benjamin. Was just behind Aikiri in that race behind Rostopovich. So can also be, and also again, you'll see Captain Wu. He ran 4.3 behind Captain Wu, and Akiru 1.6 behind Captain Wu. But so number one and two, definitely the main contenders, and then maybe, some of the other horses for the quartets and trifecta selections. Valcardino is also a horse from Cape Town, and I think you should also definitely include this. The play also shows a bit of early speed, and can definitely maybe, be involved with number 12, Red, White, and Blue. Ran a nice first race behind Denim and Jeans in February, and yeah, but it can improve from there as well. So definitely, I'm very. I think it is I won't say open race. I think that number one will be number two. I think for first, but the places after that is going to be hard to find for the quartet and the trifecta selections. Then we have race 4 at 1400 meters maiden plate for fillies and mares. And let's have a look at the betting. And here the betting is as follows. Number 1, 22 to 10, Bottom Seville 5 to 1, Sanjero 9 to 2, Gaily Girl 7 to 1, Lady in Waiting 8 to 1, 14 to 1, Gut Class 16 to 1, Endless Dreams, Inner Gens 20 to 1, Pip to the Post 20 to 1, 25 to 1, Combustion 53 to 1, Captain Gold, and Longer the Rest. So here I think Cash Robinson can complete a double. Here we have a very well-bred number 1 in between dreams, a Silvano out of Redoubtable by Eliodor. Redoubtable is a mare that has thrown 1 or 2 nice siblings, offspring, and this horse has been running 3 or 4 lengths behind in Kenilworth, which will definitely advance her chances here in PE. In my outsider selections is number 4, Inogen. This horse from Jared Rackstable certainly is trying his best. Was in Cape Town, then went to KwaZulu-Natal, now finding it here in PE. And I think that the 1400 today will suit this horse better. The 1200 meter, I think it was just a bit, too fast for him. And I think over the 1400 meters, he has ran 4 seconds and 2 and 3/4 over the 1400 meters. So surely I think this is the distance that will suit him. So maybe Inogen definitely inclusion for places today. I don't think he's going to trouble the number 1 horse, but definitely include for your places. And then here we have Endless Charm. Has been running there and thereabouts, and Louis Mengotso is riding well. It's a Futura, and the Futura is running well these days. So definitely also a horse that you want to include for the backing up your quartets and trifectas. Then also have a look at number 14. Unfortunately, this horse has drawn 14, but there's surely definitely even with a chance. Ryan Munger will be running on. This horse run on well last time out 23.8, before that 24.2. So definitely Sarajevo definitely in with a chance in this race. And then again, back end of the quartets, number 13, Combustion, coming from Cape Town for Zitwa Station. Also, another horse I wanted to mention, I'm going to find it now. Yes, Pip to the Post, also included in the back end of your quartets and trifecta selections. Lady in Waiting, I think is also Futura by Trippy Me, can definitely improve. It ran over 1400 meters last time, but says you're steady 2000 meters. So also maybe a quartet inclusion, and then also number 3, Madam Seville, Tara Lang. Also horse that came from Cape Town that ran second to Sunshine Beach last time out. So surely you want to also include that into your calculations. And maybe again also Gary Gill coming from Cape Town has run a few places there and can maybe involved in the finish. So also include Richard Fury riding for Zichman Oosteisen. It looks like he's got a few rides for him today. And then we move on to race number 5, which is 1,000 meters, medal rated 82, and in class C, 79. And here the betting is 22 to 10, Dragon Power, 6 to 1, Dedicacia, 7 to 1, Wolfgang, Stranger Danger, 13 to 2, 10 to 1, Russian Prince, Varsity Bourbon, 10 to 1, Evie's First, 12 to 1, Spring Awakening, 12 to 1, Roback Express, 20 to 1, and 25 to 1, and longer the rest. Now, here again, we have a horse from Cash Robinson, the favorite, and that is Dragon Power, What a Winter. Now, we're running here in a C Division 79. Though this also has run against some stronger opposition, 96 there, no laying up. Word is your oyster, 5 rings behind that. So certainly has got the credentials to win this race. But my first selection is number 1, which is Wolfgang. Now, Wolfgang has also run against very good opposition, and then was last time out was running on strongly behind Viking Moon. And although back today over 1,000 meters, he has won over 1,000 meters twice already, getting the -2.5 down in class. But I've been running an A and B division, and I think today Wolfgang is ready to run a huge race. Then for outsider selections, I'm going to go for number 5, which is Russian Prince. This horse also has run against some of the best in the country on sprints, Eden Rock, Bohica, Epic Dream, Vaz Vicky. And I think Russian Prince definitely a horse that can surprise today. You must keep this horse in the reckoning. And here, my other outsider selection is number 12. And that's Evie's First, also from the Jean Nel stable. Running up a little bit in class, but it's only carrying 54. And has run also some decent races. And I do know Jean Nel likes this horse. Also, you want to include in the back end of your quartets, number 13, Red Gold Moon. A 4-year-old, only had 6 runs. Looks like he has got these little problems. But that win is Maiden from start to finish, be the eye of the tiger. And then hasn't done much, but as I said now, coming from Gauteng, there's always the possibility that the horse can improve here in PE. And then obviously number 11, Strange and Danger, is also a horse that has now run 4 seconds in a row after beating winning a maiden plate. But I think there are a bit stronger horses in this race. Andre Nel bringing Spring Awakening here, has been running against horses the likes of Shinnecock, Real Gone Kid, also obviously in with a chance. But and then also Varsity Bourbon, Bourbon in this race, course and distance, 6 runs, 4 wins. Richard Fury from draw 13 certainly has got a chance in this field to be involved in the placings. But again, as I said, number 7, Dragon Power, is a strong contender, probably going to fight it out with number 1, Wolfgang, for this race. So let's move on to the next race, which is race number 6, which is the East Cape Guineas, 1,600 meters. Let's have a look at the betting. Here we have a small field, only 6 runners, because number 1 is a scratching. He didn't run well during the week. Adios Amigos, even money 22-10, Salvatore Mundi, Northern Song 55-1, Jagan Moon 7-1, 10-1, 5 £5, and Tiger in the Sun. Now, here my first selection is the number 6 or Salvatore Mundi. I know he's a second favorite, and we're going to have a look at Adios Amigos. Might look like he has got stronger form, but there's one thing that I can respect of Justin Snape, and I think in this country there's not many trainers that can place his horses as well as Justin Snape. I don't know how they do it. I don't know if he's got a magic formula, but he will not bring this horse today if he don't think the horse has got a chance. This horse finished behind the second wave. The second wave won again over the week. Rocky Ringo ran in the second the other day. And I just think between the two of them, although this horse has only won 2 races, where Adios Amigos has won 3 races, I think it's going to be a nice deal between the two of them. And I'm thinking that Salvo Mundi will be the right choice. Here you have Jagan Moon, and yeah, this horse is, he's clocked up 5 wins in a row, mostly on the poly. He still have to win on the turf, but I'm sure maybe he's going to give them a run for their money. But I think that between those two, they will be too strong. Northern Song is also there. Has run against some of these horses, so they run against each other. But I think even if you have a look here, Salvatore Mundi did beat Northern Song last time, but okay, there was a 4 kilogram in the favor of Salvatore Mundi, 4.5. Now they're running even weights, but he did beat him by 4.2 lengths, so should be able to beat him again. But do include in your quartet just for the odd chance that the horse can improve. So then we move on to race number 7, which is the East Cape Sprint, listed over 1,200 meters. Now here the betting is as follows. Number 1, Captain Tatters 13-10, Constable 28-10, Kimberly Star 12-1, Karaoke 12-1, Pleased to Meet You 14-1, Aqua Delta 16-1, Racine 16-1, La Baramia 14-1, Joyful Winter 16-1, and 20-1, and Better the rest. Now, guys, when when I do my selections, one of the things that one has to look at is handicapping. I mean, the whole basis of racehorses racing is based on handicapping. Now, here we have number A division class A 101. Now here we have a horse like Captain Tatters, now, which is the favorite at 13-10. And it's not that I say that Captain Tatters cannot win. Surely after this run behind Lady Rio Carreri, and Eric the Red and all of that, he must certainly have a huge chance to win this race. But if you have a look here, he's only 5th best weighted in this race. Before him is La Baramia, Joyful Noise, Karakoa, Fly My Flag, and then Captain Tatters. Now, of all of those 5, I think the horse that I think can beat all of them is number 8, La Baramia. Now, La Baramia is a horse, is a mare that has won stakes races in her time, run against the best in the country, and certainly the distance I don't think will be a problem. The 1,000 meters that one ran on well last time out, and is handicapped to win this race at 14-1. Now, obviously, I'm not going to preach this as a certainty, but I mean, if you're looking for value, way better to find value where you have a horse that's the best handicap in the race. And I can tell you, my experience is that this handicapping that they waste here, the best weighted column in computer form, I think works out 80% of the time. So I would be thinking that this is going to be a race between La Baramia and Captain Tatters. And then other horses that you can look at to include is number 2, Pleased to Meet You. Pleased to Meet You has also dropped the merit rating from 112 to 105. But he is also won against some decent opposition in Cape Town, with already 822 5 days. But I can remember early in his career, he beat some useful horses in a future race in Cape Town. And then in Cape Town, he's running the best in the country that you can find. So certainly, I think he's not here just to come and have a trip to the sea. Pleased to Meet You. Definitely inclusion in all of your bets as a trifecta, quartets, exactas, the whole shebang. And then also we're going to have a look at number 9, which is Carokia. Now, this horse also runs well. He did surprise me on his last 2 wins, and then last time out behind Ronan Day, which is also a Cape Town inmate, also running a decent race. So certainly a horse that can lift his feet a bit. And then even you have Joyful Noise here, who has won 5 races from 9, but again less opposition, but was beaten. But also a horse that you might not want to pop in for 3rd and 4th place into your quartets and trifecta selections. Then we move on to the last race, which is the 8th race, 1,200 meters Follies and Mares, 86 handicap. Let's have a look at the betting. Here the betting is number 3, Mediciono 33-10, Kathleen 33-10, Dive Captain 10-1, 10-1, Bradina, Erin 10-1, Makara 10-1, 12-1, Intrepid Traveler 16-1, Captain Anne Bonnie, Trippin the Star 16-1, Mazani 16-1, 21, and better the rest. So here in this race, my first selection is number 2. Now, number 2 is Dive Captain. Dive Captain came off a race from November till March and run well against Sugar Gum last time out. Needed this run, fading out over the last bit. And I do think that the 1,200 meters will also suit him, because I think the 1,000 meters might have just been a little bit too fast. He did meet in this race. He met the favorite, Mediciano, and they are running in the same terms behind Sugar Gum again. But I think number 2 being a little bit fitter, and the distance has increased to 1,200 meters, although number 3 was also running on. So I'm expecting the race to be run between number 2 and number 3 horse. And then outside of selections, you want to look at number 7, Brandina. It's also Alex Greef has got a strong hand. This horse has also run against some decent opposition. He's now running in a C division, C division 81. You can see here it ran in the B division 91, but although on the poly, but this horse can run as well on the poly as on the turf. So certainly also a horse that's run against some decent opposition and can be involved in the finish. And also another outsider selection is number 9, which is Erin. Erin is also a horse that's been placed behind a horse like Global Drummer, but also mainly on the poly, but has won 2 on the turf. And also a horse that can make his presence felt. And then another horse you must include in all of your bets is Makara, coming from Joburg, has had 1 run here behind Angel Bouquet. But I just feel this horse can improve, nicely bred, and do include for the back end of your trifectas and quartet. So that brings us to the end of our preview. I hope I could point you in the right direction for a few winners. And as I always say, break a leg.